And I think what's interesting is it's all very well to say, well, that's the trend, deal with it. The issue really is how you transition from the current world you're in into this new world. So, there's a huge difference between a digitally switched PBX infrastructure, a big difference between IP telephony infrastructure, and then when you move to a software-centric or an application-centric world, it becomes very different again. So, so all of the things you need to worry about become really quite different in this application-centric world than in an equipment-centric world. So one of the examples here is if you consider licensing, for example, in a PBX world, PBX manufacturers made their money from selling hardware and line cards and so on. In an IP telephony world, they made their money from selling licenses. In an application-centric world, we'll still sell licenses, but we'll allow you to transfer the licenses you've already purchased into that virtualized world. And we'll also give you the option that we'll subscription-base those licenses so that they're on a pay-as-you-use basis. And I think that becomes commercially very compelling to people, that you're then paying for the services you're using as opposed to paying for some massive proprietary piece of hardware. Let's talk some more about this move to software. So Mitel's worked with Sun Microsystems, and what we've done is we've taken technology from Sun, and Sun have a piece of technology called Sunray, which is a thin client technology. So those of you not familiar with thin client computing, this is a thin client here. So basically you clip the base off of Mitel phone, clip on a Sunray, and the Sunray is built into the base phone. So all you need on your desktop is this, a flat screen monitor, and a keyboard. Okay, so here, as an example, what you can do with a Sunray is a secure gateway to applications that are running in your data center. So you don't need a PC because it's a thin client computing. So as an example, you could be working at your desk, you put typically your employee badge into the Sunray. You could be working at your desk, let's say you're working on a PowerPoint presentation, you're called away, you pull your employee badge out, the whole thing locks down and is secure, and away you go. Let's say you travel the next couple of days, you end up in your Manchester office, put your employee badge back into a Sunray in the Manchester office, and that half-finished PowerPoint presentation is going to come back on your screen. And that's what you get with thin client computing. Now, what you get from Mitel is you get the telephony equivalent of that thin client computing. So when you put your badge back in, your phone's going to light up with all your personal preferences, all your speed dials are going to light up, all your call routing is going to light up, your message waiting light's going to light up, your missed calls, all of the features you would expect when you're in your standard office will light up simply by putting that badge back in the thing. And we've been able to do that because it's a software-only product, and we've virtualized that linkage between the Sunray and the Mitel telephony solution. So I'm going to talk about VMware. Those of you not familiar with VMware, VMware's got about a $2 billion revenue. They have 85% market share for virtualization. So Mitel have been working very, very hard with VMware. We spent about a year working with VMware because, as Roger says, one of the toughest things about virtualization is latency and delay. And latency and delay are absolute disaster for real-time communication, particularly voice. So we've worked very hard with VMware to improve their product and improve our product so that it will work in a VMware environment. And Mitel is the first certified application that's a real-time application that will work in a VMware environment. So just talking about VMware. So without VMware, typically lots of customers have lots of servers. They're running various applications on those servers. And clearly, none of those servers are running at capacity. And of course, if you've got lots of servers, they all require the same amount of power. They all emit heat, so air conditioning, and running your data center becomes more expensive. They take up a lot of space. You've got to configure them, set up, and so on. And then maintain them and so on. So if you consider moving this into a VMware environment, then what you can do is you can take a single server, collapse all these applications into that single server, and then you're taking lots of servers that are running at low capacity to this, as an example, this CPU usage run at 56%, and you've got a single server doing all of those things. So clearly, a huge amount of cost saving in terms of hardware, service in that infrastructure, power, administration, and so on. And then what you also get from VMware is you get overall management. You get redundancy, you get resiliency, and so on, all of part of that VMware wrapper. So typically, customers move into a virtualized environment would see a 60% reduction in cost and a 2 to 3 times productivity gain for their data center or their application administrators. So what can Mitel do in this world? Well, what we can do is we've taken our core control software, which is the Mitel Communication Director, and we've extrapolated that. And what you can do is you can run that on either an IPPBX from Mitel, and obviously the IPPBX from Mitel has gateway functionality and so on built into it. You can run it on a Sun server, IBM server, HP server, and a Dell server as well. It's Dell we introduced a couple of weeks ago. So you can run our software on any of these servers. What you can also do, and you can do that today, and you can run our software on those servers. But what you can also do is you can run under VMware today all of our UC applications. You can run our Unified Communication Portal, you can run web conferencing, you can run our call center technology, and you can run our FMC applications, all running on that single server. And because this is a VMware server, you can, obviously subject to engineering rules, run other applications on that same server as well that aren't from Mitel. So we're absolutely committed to make this an open thing. So we don't want to take a server and use virtualization to integrate our own stuff. We want to take the leading virtualization software from the industry, VMware, and we're running our application under VMware within your data centers. So just in closing, I thought, the things that we think are going to become very compelling and what we're seeing the key drive for is wireless and mobile technologies become ubiquitous. Every customer we're talking to wants to reduce the cost of their mobile phone or their mobile phone tariffs. They want to improve the contactability of their people. Roger did a great job talking about SIP networking. We're seeing customers literally save about 60% of their fixed wire infrastructure tariff cost by moving to an all SIP network. And first of all, you get enormous cost savings, but I think more importantly, you get huge flexibility, the ability to dynamically adjust the bandwidth that you're sourcing from a SIP service provider is huge. And I hope you're going to hear more about that today. And I think when you consider the things that I've talked about earlier, you take all of these solutions, you centralize them into your data center, Britannic's data center, our data center, a service provider's data center. It really doesn't matter, but you're going to be able to procure these things as a service in a cloud-type environment. And we believe that we can deliver all of that running in a VMware environment. So that's what I had to say. So with that, I'll pass it back to Jonathan. Thanks for your attention.